stole all my thunder, the real Turner's thunder in person. Oh my God. I love you, ATU, so very much. And I do want to thank the president and all of the officers and just the entire team for all that you do. The president for his leadership and his vision, not just for the members of this union, but his leadership and his vision for all working peoples all over the world. I got to give it up to President Larry Hanna. Now, my video self stole all my thunder this morning, or this afternoon. What time? This morning, still. I got to give a shout out to Ohio. I don't know where Ohio is, but I got to give a shout out to you. And as Jeff was reminding me, and the president mentioned in 2012, when my husband and I slept outside on the corner of East 30th and Euclid, our Clevelanders will know, and it was a rainy day, because some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle had decided that it was more important to try to suppress votes than to expand it. And the mission to make President Obama a one-term president was permeating throughout the state of Ohio. And we wanted to make sure that we showed symbolically that even if voters in the state of Ohio had less opportunities to vote in terms of that access, that we wanted them to get out there on that first day and vote. And yes, we did sleep outside in the cold. There were ATU members there. In 2012, the ATU members of Ohio did the daggone thing as they drove people, poor people in particular, but people all across the state of Ohio, but particularly in Cuyahoga County, to the polls. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Now, we know that the ballot box is the greatest equalizer that we have. You hear this over and over and over again, but you hear it particularly during presidential election years. I'm going to put a pin in that because I want to say to you that every single year there's an election. Every single year there's somebody or something on the ballot, that we cannot build a nation that honors and lifts all people if we only vote during presidential election years, that every single election year matters. But I'm going to come back to that. So one woman, one man, one vote. And ATU, you have continued to be on the forefront of the fight for living wages and opportunities for all people. And the fact that in your union, in your industry, from logistics to the man or the woman who is behind the steering wheel, you guarantee through your service that everybody, lottie-dottie and everybody, as my grandmother used to say, will be able to go where they need to go, whether it's to work or to the daycare center or to the doctor or to home or for leisure. Your membership guarantees that they can get there. And I know that you would agree with me this morning that we need to make more investments in public transportation in the United States of America in particular. So we find ourselves, members, back in a familiar moment, another presidential election year. And I don't know about you, but this has been an election year like no other. I'm pretty much over it, too. I'm just going to confess that. I just want it to be done. Election day, please come quickly. And if you are in a swing state, you are being inundated night and day and night with commercials. I'm over it. But what we cannot be over is our civic responsibility to make sure that we exercise that right to vote. But sisters and brothers, I would argue that our work in this thing called life, this thing called civic responsibility in a representative democracy begins way before we get to the ballot box. Now, I know political types like me, we come around every time it's time for a vote, and we make all kinds of promises. And we tell you how much we love you and how much we are going to do for you. And in the moment, most of us mean that when we say it. But then we get elected, and some of us let you down. I bring message today that I do understand, hashtag that the struggle is real. that I do understand that although income has gone up in this country, according to some recent statistics that we just got, by about 5.6%, I do understand that my working class sisters and brothers are working more jobs or longer hours to get that increase. I understand that very clearly. And I do understand that 10% of the wealthiest families in this country control over 75% of the wealth. I do understand that. I do understand that in the 21st century, in 2016, that poverty has become a crime. But this also, I understand that when everyday people like you and like me put a little extra on our ordinary, extraordinary things do happen. That delayed does not mean denied, that we can never give up, never give in, never give out, because the mission for freedom and justice and equality for all folks, be they white, black, Asian, Latin, Native, gay, straight, Republican, Democrat, Green Party, no party, party all night long if you want to. Whatever you want to claim.
They did.
They did party all night long. I heard that. I heard that. They left a sister out of the party, you know. But whatever you claim, that the only way for us to get there and to do this thing is together. Hashtag the struggle is real. You know, Brother Frederick Douglass once said that power never concedes anything without a struggle. It never has. It never will. Not without a demand. It never has, and it never will. So we need some Mother Jones sisters and brothers in this room. Mother Jones once said that she would pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living. We need some of them folks up in here today. That's us. So I know that the union endorsed my senator in the primary, Senator Bernie Sanders. And ATU, I want to thank you for that bold step, because that was bold. In the primary, that was bold. And the senator is a visionary, but guess what? Even though he did not win the nomination, the vision and the reality for what he was fighting for is still very much in order. If you believe that everybody in this country deserves, or in America, because we're in Canada too. Shout out to my Canadian sisters and brothers. Let me not forget, this is an international thing. But if we believe that everybody should have access to high quality health care, that fight continues. If you believe that black and brown folks in this country are being treated unfairly, that we have some work to do in the criminal justice system, that fight still continues. Workers' rights and voting rights and women, you know, they kind of locked us up with our reproductive stuff. Now, we care more about, we got other stuff we care about too, but it don't get more personal than being able to control your own body. I'm just saying. But we care about lots of things. All of the things that you care about and you hold dear starts at the ballot box. It is not a sexy thing, but it is a real thing. And so we have to decide what type of future we want to live. And I'm not going to be one of those that talks down to you. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I know that ATU endorsed Senator Bernie Sanders. That was a bold step. And I know right now the union is endorsing Secretary Clinton. For the members in this room, you have a decision that you have to make as an individual. And your leaders can guide you, but ultimately you have to make the decision about what type of America you want to live in. And that America does not begin or end with a president, but the president of the United States of America has lots of influence, and we have to keep that in mind. But I don't want you to forget that we are losing lots of ground in this nation based on what governors do and members of General Assemblies do, and we cannot forget that Senate Bill 5 in Ohio. We can't nation build just every 4 years. So sisters and brothers, I want you to follow me with the 3 C's here as I wrap this thing up. Consciousness, commitment, and consequence. Consciousness, commitment, and consequence. We have one candidate talking about law and order. And I just want to say this morning that you can't have law and order without justice. That you can't have law and order without peace. That you can't have law and order without progress. That you can't have law and order without love. That you can't have law and order without empathy. That you can't have law and order without sympathy. All I'm saying is that we rise and fall together. And I understand the grievances of the forgotten. Now, I've never been a white man. I hear sometimes it can be fun. But let me just say this to my vanilla brothers. I understand. Because I hail from a people who endured a struggle in this nation that is unspeakable. So I do understand that sometimes folks who are speaking in this political universe leave out the fact that there are poor white men in this country who feel as though they have been left behind, that our blue-collar brothers on the vanilla side feel as though they have been left behind, that they are sick and tired of politicians talking down to them. I get it. But I need you to get this too. That we, us, you and I, those of us who are conscious, we have more in common than not. That the African American community, we want law and order too, but we want justice, we want transparency, we want accountability, we want love, we want uplift, we want understanding, we want what every other community wants. We are together on that. That's right. We can't have law and order without justice. And I'm saying this, sisters and brothers, because I get it. This is not partisan for me, but I will speak the truth for or against a Democrat or a Republican. It doesn't matter to me. But I understand that Democrats are losing the blue-collar white male, and I understand why. Because some of us are so elitist, and we think we know everything, and we don't have compassion. There is a demographic shift in this nation that we all have to come to grips with. But sisters and brothers, but to my brothers on the vanilla side, I want you to know that we get it, we understand it. And I am saying this to you as an African-American mama of an African-American son who wears a badge and a gun. I get it. I get it. And I worry about my baby every single day. When he's in uniform and when he is out of uniform. I get it. I get that the struggle is real, that the middle class dream, the American dream is slipping away from all of us, but we cannot allow anybody, and I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican, no party at all, to separate us. The 99% of us, we are together. But we got to have empathy and sympathy for one another and not stereotype and judge one another. All of us are needed. So we got to have a consciousness, sisters and brothers. That is my C. To seek to be, as Stephen Covey once put it, to seek to understand and then to seek to be understood. I get it. Y'all don't want folks telling y'all what to do. You grown-ass people. You don't want people telling you what to do. I understand. And I don't think we should move from positions of fear. We need to move from positions of power and promise. I get it. Folks saying that the other guys is well, I ain't gonna say nothing. Let me just say this. We need each other. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Promise and power, I get it. And then we gotta have a commitment. Things don't happen overnight. Delayed does not mean denied. It does matter who you elect to office. It matters on every single level of government. ATU, let me just say this to you. If folks make promises in 2016 and you help to get their behinds elected and they don't deliver, don't vote for them again and don't vote for them again. That's it. That's it. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they hail from, what their political clout is. Either you against the TPP or you not. Either you are for poor and working class folks or you are not. I was so disappointed during the debate. I don't know about you, but I didn't hear nobody talk about the poor. You know, I didn't hear anybody talk about poor people. Talking about middle class folks. What the hell do they know that middle class barely hanging on? And while we have candidates who are out there just duking it out about each other's reputation and what each other have done or not done, who in the hell is talking about the people? The people. The people. So ATU, I get it. I'm not going to come in here and sell you a bill of goods. All I'm going to say is that you got to decide what kind of nation that you want to live in. I get it. I'm hurt, you know. I'm feeling all types of ways right now in this country for lots of reasons. But I tell you this, there is promise in the problem if we stick together. And we don't always have to agree. And sometimes we have attitudes and we don't get it because we don't take enough time to put ourselves in the other person's shoes. But together, my God, we can do great things. The United States of America is what it is today. She's not everything that she's gonna be, but she is what she is today because we are a nation of progress. We duke it out and we do better year after year after year after year after year, generation after generation. And sisters and brothers, we can't go backwards. We progress. We can't regress. We cannot go backwards. So you gotta be willing to have a commitment that outlives you. That everything that you work for today, you might not see when you hold folks accountable, but my God, you get ready to pass the baton. Delayed does not mean denied. I remember asking one of the ministers in Cleveland who I admire so much because I was just so, you know what, can I just tell y'all this? I am an angry black woman. Can I just put that out there? Can I just say that? Can I just tell you I'm mad as hell about a whole bunch of stuff? You know, I'm mad. I'm mad. I wear it with a badge on. Yes, I'm angry. I'm angry that people like you in this room, you work so daggone hard and it's hard to make ends meet, and you are among the blessed. There's some sisters and brothers who are not in this room. They would love to trade places with any one of us in this room. Sometimes we got to learn how to be grateful, but yeah, I'm mad. And I think that's what we need in this country right now, a little righteous indignation, especially from those of us who hail from elected office. We get a little too comfortable, a little too cute, and just unwilling to tell the pure and unadulterated truth. The truth is this, that people are still struggling even though we have come a mighty long way. We have a longer way to go, but my God, there is promise in the problem. Sisters and brothers, we will get there, and we will get there together. I'm feeling a little Teddy Roosevelt this morning, if y'all don't mind. I'm feeling a lot of folks talking to me this morning. But President Teddy Roosevelt said, far and away, one of the best things in life is to be able to work hard at a work worth doing. To my sisters and brothers in this room, whether you white or black, Latino, Asian, Native American, a little mixture of a whole bunch of stuff. No matter who you are or what you are, one of the greatest things in this life is to be able to work hard at a work worth doing. why you are here today at this convention is to work hard at a work worth doing, to get out there not only in this presidential election, but every single election and hold people accountable, but do the work that is necessary to transform this nation, this world, to make it a better place for ourselves and for generations yet unborn. That is a work worth doing, and it won't always be pleasant. It is hard sometimes. Folks have attitudes sometimes. People don't understand you sometimes. But my God, we are all in this together. Together. We are in this together. We sink or swim together. Consequence. There's a consequence for all of our actions, whether we are elected or not. But you have the opportunity every single election year just to say to folks, I want you to keep a scorecard. Is that all right, Mr. President? The ATU puts down this scorecard. How much money was invested in public transportation? Whatever it is, put it down. So you elect a president in 2016 and they take the oath of office in 2017. In 2 years, you look at the report card. You know, how many of you at midterm, you give them their score. And you let them know very clearly, I got you in there. As my mama used to say, I brought you in this world. I will take you out. That's what you got to start saying to these elected officials. I got you in. And I will take you out, baby. If you ain't looking out for my family, if you ain't looking out for me and mine. And mean it. Then when 2020 comes around and they come talking about the worst person since the Armageddon is running again, you say, no, I ain't falling for that one again. Right? I just want to know, did you adhere to my scorecard? You let folks know whether they got an A, B, C, D, or F. And baby, if they got a D or an F, I say they got the damn go. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. Man. Woo! I can just run around this room. See, politicians don't usually get real like this. I want you to go back and tell them that angry black woman told me. Oh, yeah. Angry and proud. Because I want somebody to stand up for the people for once. And mean what you say. And say what you mean. I want people to have a commitment. I want elected officials who are willing to lose for something. That's what Senator Sanders was all about. But he has an opportunity to still lead. He's in that Senate. He's not going anywhere. He will still lead. He still needs you. If you just believe in what he believed in, if you just even believe in a little bit of that. But no great leader can do it by themselves. Can I just say, titles are good, but purpose is better. Titles get you in the room. They get your phone calls returned. But you don't want nobody in the room who's just happy to be there. They just giddy to be there. Because they ain't going to do nothing once they get there. You want somebody who understands their purpose. We need purpose leaders in this country. From mama's house to the White House, we need purpose-driven leaders. That's it. So I want you to vote for the future you want. You gotta do that. Okay, so, preachers and politicians get 4 or 5 closings. I'm about to wrap this thing up. Mr. President, I could run around this room. I'm feeling so good. I haven't even had my coffee. This is what ATU does to me. Can I just say, because I didn't think ATU, but when I ran for Secretary of State in 2014, ATU was right there by my side. Mr. President, you and your members were one of the first major unions to max out to a sister. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. Can I just say this? Because it's hard to run for office. It's hard to run statewide, but it is especially hard for a chocolate sister to run for statewide office. And the fact that the ATU was right there by my side, you didn't figure out what the polls said. You didn't figure out can she win and not win. You said, that's our girl. She stand up for working class men and women in this country, and we going to stand with her. Oh, yeah, ATU. You did that for the angry black woman. And I love you for that. You didn't calculate. I will never forget it. And the president and the members of this union was always by my side in the great state of Ohio. I will never forget it. Man. So we're going to work hard at a work worth doing. Congresswoman Barbara Jordan once said, what the people want is simple. They want an America as good as its promise. That is not that we are against wealth. We are against greed. Greed, baby. When so few have so much and so many don't have enough at all, we got to stand up against that. Promising the problem, a work worth doing. What the people want is simple. An America as good as its promise. A Canada as good as its promise. A world as good as its promise. And it is in all of your hands. I want you to know that. And I feel the pain. I acknowledge the pain. But we can work through it, promising the problem. In my closing, I didn't mean to call my vanilla brothers. I hope y'all ain't mad because I didn't mean to call. I love y'all though. But some angry, it's angry white men too. You know, there's some angry white men in the world. I get it. I understand. Hell, I'm mad with you. I got you. We together. I'm gonna look out. We look out for each other. Understanding is what we need. So consciousness, commitment, and consequence. Three things, you know, I do believe that the creator of this universe has given us two hands, one to reach forward and one to reach back, lifting as we climb. We are our sisters and our brothers' keepers, no matter what people say. Do y'all know that this sister grew up poor? Now, not all black people are poor, though. Can I just say that? Can I just say that? Can I say that, Gary?
Yeah, you can.
You know, because there's a stereotype out there that we all, but a sister did grow up that way. And my parents got married young, and it didn't work out. They got married as teenagers, and I grew up the majority of my life in a single mama household. I didn't really understand that relationship until I got older, but I get it now. But it didn't work out. So single parent household, I'm the oldest of 7 children. My mother died. How you pronounce your name? Esker. My mama died at the age of 42 years old, with her dreams deferred. Langston Hughes asked in his poem, what happens to a dream deferred? Aneurysm burst in her brain. I saw her that morning in a coma that night. About 2 weeks later, I'm being asked as the eldest child, Curtis, to pull the plug on the woman who nurtured me and 6 other babies and did the very best that she could. She didn't want to be poor. Nobody says when I grow up I want to be poor. Lord have mercy, help me, that's my aspiration. Nobody says that. But my mother died at the age of 42 years old with no money in the bank, no life insurance policy, and on the system of welfare. I was 22, my baby sister was 12. I was married, I had a son. I fell to my knees and I said, Lord, if you have mercy on my soul, I will become a cycle breaker. And I will break the cycle of poverty and undereducation in my family for my mama's memory. How I got over. My soul looks back and wonders how I got over. I get it. I get it. Poverty is poverty. If you white and you poor, you poor. Our rural and Appalachian sisters and brothers, our urban sisters and brothers, we got folks living in the suburbs, they barely hold on in the suburbs. Poor is poor, but people want to divide us and put up boogeymen. If you are among the working poor and the middle class, we are the same. We are the same. And we got to have understanding one to another. So I told God, if you help me, Lord, I will become that cycle breaker, and I was blessed to become it. How I got over, my soul looks back and wonders. I get it. So fancy titles are all right, but let me tell you something. When I am in those rooms, I understand where I came from. I understand where I hail from. I understand who I'm standing up for. I understand who I'm speaking for. I don't forget it. I got you. We need more elected officials who get it. I get it. So we got to have those two hands. You don't know who you're saving in this world. Number two, and most importantly, ATU, we can't ask other folks to do more for us than we're willing to do for ourselves. Now, we got to do something this election cycle, and I get it. You may not feel like you got the best choices this time around. I understand. I ain't going to sugarcoat this thing. I get it. But you got to make a choice. But you got to make a choice, and you got to decide what kind of country you want to live in. And please, 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 what James Brown said, please, 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 hold people accountable. Sometimes you get discouraged in this thing because you just let political types just get away with whispering them sweet nothings in your ear. Baby, how much I love you. Hold them accountable. The power is in your hands. It always is in your hands. The struggle is real. So when that minister, I said, Pastor, I know I'm feeling a type of way right now. I said, Pastor, why do we keep going through the same stuff? This is what I want you got to take this with you. He said, Senator, the struggle is forever, so we are forever in the struggle. The struggle is forever, so we are forever in the struggle. It never ends. My God, but what can all of us do to advance progress? We can do this thing. And then lastly, in the words of my grandmother, which my video self stole from me, can I just say, Grandma used to say that you can put truth in the river, Veronica. 5 days after lie, but truth gonna catch up. Truth in the river 5 days after lie, but truth gonna catch up. And the truth of the matter is this. As great as the American, we are great. But we always can be better. That things have gotten better since the Great Recession. But if you were already down in the dumps, getting a little better ain't got you there yet. That we must continue to fight for social justice all of the days of our lives. And what you do in your industry is a social justice calling. Now, you got some elected officials, Mr. President, right? They want to cut funding to transportation. They want to end public transportation. We cannot allow that to happen, because if that happens, then Mrs. Jones might not be able to go get her medicine. Mamas might not and daddies might not be able to go to work. Children will not be able to go to school. When you get up every day, whether you're the hand behind the wheel or you're the person in the office or you're the mechanic, making sure that the buses and vehicles run properly, know that you are on a social justice mission. That's it. And you see, your mission is so high, you can't get over it. And your mission is so low, you can't get under it. And your mission is so wide, baby, you can't get around it. And within that mission are different steps that you have to take to do your part to make this world a better place, a better place, a better place. Truth in the river. Truth gon' catch up. The truth has caught up. And so now it is incumbent upon us, as it always is, to show up, to show out. What are we going to do for the cause? Are we going to do a work worth doing? Are we going to be a part of making America all that it can be? What the people want is simple. An America as good as its promise. Are you going to take my grandma's 3 bones, the wishbone, the jawbone, and the backbone, and wrap them all around you? You're going to speak that truth to power. You're going to have hopes and dreams. But the most important bone of them all is the backbone, baby. You can't give somebody a spine who ain't got a spine. We need people to stand up. Backbone. You ain't got to have a fancy title to do that. Mother Jones didn't have a fancy title. Fannie Lou Hamer didn't have a fancy title. My God, Cesar Chavez did not have a fancy title. Viola Lozo did not have a fancy title, baby. You can do it. It's you, and you. And everything that we do today is not just for ourselves, but it is for generations yet unborn who will write about, who will think about, who will talk about, but who will have to live in a society and a world that we create for them. It is on you. What are you going to do for the cause? It is on you. What are you going to do for the cause? It is on you. What are you going to do for the cause? Work well at a work worth doing. ATU, I love y'all. God bless you. Love y'all.